Hello everyone, and welcome to Action RPG Build Guide Edition. I am so excited today to finally be able to share with you my updated Sentinel Paladin. I have legitimately been working on this build for weeks. I've been trying to gear it correctly and test it, and I feel like it is at a really good spot. Let's not waste any time and jump right into this. We're officially logged into an Echo Run 100. Now I'm going to be doing two different runs for you today. One will be nice and slow. You'll take a look at the build. I'll have my Juggernaut stance on, and my second run will be a speed run, and I will show you just how fast you can clear with this build. Now, the skills I'm going to be using are Shield Rush, Sigils of Hope, Holy Aura, Juggernaut stance, Shield Throw, and with Shield Throw, it is going to be triggering Smite for me, and I'll explain all that in a little bit. All right, let's get our Sigils up, and let's do this. It's gonna be nice and slow, show you how it works. Now I have to say, I have been playing this build a lot, a whole lot. It might be my new favorite. Everyone knows my favorite build right now is my Fire Necro. And the Fire Necro is still probably the strongest build I've ever used. But this build is just a whole lot of fun, and I've been able to clear literally everything end game with fairly easily. I also don't like saying that this build is unkillable because I have died with it a few times, but it is very strong and tanky. Which normally if you have a shield and you're using a Sentinel, you probably already know that.
Stand down,
literally walking through this. This is a level 100. Birds. And you would think this build doesn't have very good single target damage, and it's pretty darn good. Like, I thought the Emperor Corpses was going to give me problems. It was pretty easy.
Stand down or die.
Who's left? You guys? Okay. Run 1, done. Now let's check out the speed run. Some people say the best defense is a good offense. Now, by turning off my Juggernaut stance, I will have less armor and take more damage, but I will throw faster, be able to run faster, and have a higher crit rate. Okay? Watch this.
Yeah!
Done. I'm going to do something that I've never done before, and that's actually explain my thought process. I have always wanted to make a 6-skill pally, which means one skill is triggered by another skill. That way I can put on my action bar a stance. It's basically a way of getting a free skill. Now, anytime I make a build guide, it is 100% organic, which means this build you're going to see today, maybe it's been made 100 times. Maybe it's number 1 on the leaderboard. I literally have no idea. I would never copy somebody's build. I would never try and take something and modify it. This is 100% from me based upon tests and doing my research, okay? Now, this is what I wanted to do. Follow me down the rabbit hole for just 1 minute. I promise we'll get to the breakdown. I always wanted to make a Judgment build. So it's like the main skill for the Paladin, right? It's Judgment, but it takes 45 mana. Now, the reason why I wanted to make a Judgment is because Judgment can trigger Smite right here. Smite casts 1 per point, and Smite costs mana. Now, the problem is that Smite uses Spell, Fire, and Attunement, and Judgment uses Physical, Fire, Melee, Damage over time, Strength, and Attunement. So it's really hard to get synergy amongst those two skills. On top of that, Judgment costs a ton of mana. So it doesn't matter how you're geared or how you try and make it work, you're always going to run out of mana, even with the affix where you get mana back by using Smite, okay? So after literally testing for, I should say, 5 or 6 days, the Judgment Smite build was out. I could not make it work, and my builds always have to have perfect synergy. So then I went back to the drawing board, and I did some research on other ways to trigger a skill with a Sentinel. And I came across this glorious idol. 10% chance to cast Smite when you hit with a throwing attack. And I was like, okay, so there's another way that I can trigger Smite with my Paladin. It just has to be a throwing attack. So then, okay, what throwing attacks do we have available on a Paladin or Sentinel? And I saw Hammer Throw, and I went through all of these. None of them really worked out. And then I went to Shield Throw. And I was like, okay, Shield Throw is really fun. But again, Shield Throw's scaling tags are Fire, Throwing Attack, Strength, and Dex. Where Smite's is Fire, Spell, and Attunement. So again, you're not getting perfect synergy because they're only going to share the damage numbers with Fire. So then I started testing and seeing what I could figure out, and then bam, it hit me. Check this out. Even though Shield Throw only works with Fire, Throwing Attack, Strength, and Dexterity, inside the tree for Shield Throw is Eruption. Whenever a Shield Throw ricochets on an enemy, it casts Lava Burst, a spell dealing fire damage to all enemies near. And what does Eruption scale with? Fire, Spell, and Attunement. Fire, Spell, and Attunement, which is exactly the 3 that works with Smite. Perfect synergy, which means every time I throw my shield and it causes an eruption, it does the exact same damage scaling as my Smite, and of course, it works perfectly in harmony. All right, let's look at some skills now, starting with Shield Throw. Now, what you want to do is come right down the middle first. 5 into Polished Steel, 1 into Focus Campaign, and 1 to Shield Barrage. This will make it so it is free, and it has no cooldown, so you can throw it as much as you want. Again, you do not care about the damage of actual Shield Throw, you care about the damage of Eruption. So 1 into Ricochet, 1 into Eruption, 2 into Forceful Breaking, and 5 into Liquid Hot Magma Rage. 1 into Molten Shield, this makes it where your Shield Throw damage is now fire. And then your last 3 you put into Armored Aegis, which I will show you during the character screen. Every single time you throw your shield, it is going to give you armor. Okay, so that's Shield Throw. Good old Smite, your big damage dealer. 5 into Sacrifice, 5 into Atonement, 3 into Conviction, 4 into Deep Impact, 1 into Fissure, and 2 into Heavy Impact. Now, every single time that Sacrifice triggers, it's going to take 15% of your life minus 60%. This really equates to like maybe 40 health, but your life regenerates so fast, and if you are standing in the Smite, it literally is instantaneously healed, that the damage that you get from it far exceeds the damage or the life you would lose. Okay? Holy Aura, 3 into Devotion, 2 into Fury, 5 into Burning Blows. It's going to give you a huge boost to fire damage. 2 into Fanaticism, 4 into True Strike, 3 into Extreme Zeal. It's going to give you a big boost to your crit chance and crit multiplier. And then 1 into Shelter from the Storm. Gosh, I really love this skill. Okay? Sickles of Hope, 4 into Iron Sigils, 5 into Enduring Hope, 1 into Tetragram, can't talk, 1 into Meditation, 5 into Empowering Sigils, 3 into Decree of the Flame. This is going to give you another boost to fire, and then 1 into Last Wish. Now, for a long time I wondered if Last Wish was a waste or not, and now it is one of my favorite nodes. Every single time you kill someone, there's a 6% chance of re-triggering this, and since I don't have this set up as an insta-cast, every single time it re-triggers, it's a time I don't have to stop. Now, I like using gambling analogies when I try to explain this. If anybody out there has ever played roulette, you have about a 2.7% chance of hitting your number when you play roulette if you're only betting one number. Well, you're talking about double those odds on hitting your sigil being recasted, but you're sometimes fighting, 10, 20, 30 monsters at a time. So most runs, I never actually have to hit this skill because it re-triggers so often because of this one node. Very important. Over double your chances of hitting your number in roulette, but you're spinning a million times. I think that makes sense. Last skill, and this is actually only for movement and stun chance, okay? This is actually the only skill that you could switch out if you want. Now, Shield Throw, you want 6 into Rush Mastery, 2 into protective speed, 5 into unstoppable charge. This is literally the only 3 that matter. I mean, I had an extra 7 points, so I just put it into consuming path and will breaker, but this really doesn't do any damage, so it really doesn't matter. Now, I can clear echoes, and I would say maybe 200-300% faster than without Shield Rush. It is a very, very important skill from a movement perspective, especially if you plan on having Juggernaut stance active. But if you don't care, you're going to take your time and you don't worry about rushing through things like me, even though I freaking love this skill. You can substitute Shield Rush for Ring of Shields. Now, Ring of Shields has lots of different trees that you can take. You can have it where the Ring of Shields help heal you and give you resistances and armor. You can also take Ring of Shields in the shrapnel way, which is going to add shrapnel damage to your shields when they break. So, if you want more damage or another damage dealer plus more survivability, you could take Ring of Shields, but I'm telling you, it is not required if this character is geared correctly, because Smite and Shield Throw with Eruption will do everything you need, and of course you can clear echoes so much faster with Shield Rush. But if you're having problems with damage, you're having problems with survivability, you can take Ring of Shields. Okay, so that's just more your personal preference. But those are the skills you will need to make this work. Now let's take a look at some passive skills, and just so you know, my character is level 84. You want 5 into Fearless, 5 into Protector, 1 into Armor Clad, 6 into Relentless, and 8 into Iron Mastery. This is exactly the points you want to put in it to unlock Mail Crusher, and this is if you're using a Scepter, 120% increased damage, which we are. Very important. Nothing into Void Knight. Under Forge Guard, I have 1 into Steel Aegis, just because I want the block chance and the block effectiveness for only 1 point. You will have to put 5 points into here if you choose on using Ring of Shields. Just FYI. And then Paladin. 8 into Conviction, 8 into Defiance, 5 into Honor, 6 into Holy Symbol. Literally nothing in the middle. 10 into Staunch Defender. This skill is awesome. Plus 20 to adaptive spell damage and plus 500 to armor if you use a shield. It's huge damage boost. Shield Wall. 1. 10 into Holy Precision. Since you're now using spell and a throwing, this is going to give you your spell critical strike chance. 12 into LOR, and that's going to give you fire damage. Now, right now, what I am leveling is Divine Essence, and I plan on getting to Divine Intervention. Thought it'd be good for multiplayer, but this is what I am leveling right now. Pretty straightforward. I've literally torn through all of these over and over again, and I'm telling you, this is the best way to run it. Moving over to gear, starting with required items, and now there's only 2 items that are required for this build. 1 is a Scepter, and 2 is this idol. Now, I want to be as clear as possible. In my entire time playing this Paladin, I've only found 4. Ever. And I was very lucky that 2 of them rolled perfectly with a 10% chance. The other 2 literally rolled with a 4% chance. And they can come anywhere from 4 to 10. Now, I did really, really want to find more so I could see what it's like if I can get it up to a 40% chance to trigger Smite, but 20% works fine. Now, when it comes to idols, this game really likes fire, really likes smite, and really likes smite damage. So you are very fortunate in that case, because you can find an idol that gives to smite, and you can find an item that gives to smite and fire damage, okay? But obviously, these are the 2 big ones. This one rolled with physical damage over time, which is basically a waste, but this one rolled with 443 block effectiveness, which is awesome. This idol I feel like is 1 in a million, okay? And then over here, just on the 2, I just put in fire damage. So that's what I got for idols. Under gear, I will go through it fairly quick. This is my Scepter. You want Fire, Spell, and Ignite. Helmet, Attunement, Fire damage, and increase Ignite duration. Increase Fire and Critical Strike multiplier. Shield all around block chance, resistance if you need it, and armor. Actual body armor, same thing, attunement and fire damage. Ring, fire damage spell. Fire damage endurance. Fire damage attunement. These gloves, this is where I got my endurance from. This is 25% on this pair of gloves. Now what you want on your gloves, very important, is increased throwing attack speed. And don't get that confused with increased throwing damage. Just one word different. attack speed for throwing, attunement and movement speed, and then increase fire damage and attunement. Now, a couple things that I wanted, like I said. I wanted to see what it was like having 4 of these. Didn't get it. And on here, now follow me down the rabbit hole again. On your relic, you can get anywhere from +3 to +5. Well, anywhere from +1 to +5 to skills for Smite. Okay? What I really wanted to do was find this relic with +3 to Smite, and I was not able to do it. Because if I had another 3 points on my Smite, I would take these 3 out. Okay? And then I could put 3 in here, 2 in here, and then take 2 out of here to make this 5. So basically pull 8. 3 from gear, 3 from getting rid of Fisher, which gives me 6, and then 2 from getting rid of Conviction. And that would be able to give me Ignite chance on Smite and added damage to ignited enemies. I feel like that would give me another big boost in damage for Smite. Then you're going to lose more health when it triggers, but I think the damage will offset it. I wasn't able to test that because I could not get the gear, so maybe you will have a better chance than me. Right, my favorite part, looking at the character breakdown sheet. Now, first we're going to look at it without skills, so this is just passives and gear. I'm currently sitting on 51 to attunement, 49% movement speed, and I would say that my resistances are pretty good, okay? Fire's maxed, lightning's almost there, cold's at 60, physical's at 55, poison's at 44, necrotic's at 35, void's at 46. So not at 0, not maxed. I would put it in the average category, okay? But just hang tight for a minute on resistances. My block chance is at a 55%, block effectiveness at a 57%, armor at 39. Don't worry about dodge, okay? Under defenses, my critical strike avoidance right now is too high at 129. I need to swap out an item. I have my endurance at 60, which is perfectly maxed. I just need to work on my endurance threshold. So my idea is, can I switch out critical strike avoidance for endurance threshold? That's what I want to do, is flip-flop these numbers, okay? But ultimately, my defensive stats are very solid. And then on here, increased throwing attack speed, 29%. Increased spell critical strike chance 24%, critical strike multiplier 237. I wish that number was higher. And then over here, increased spell damage 289 and increased fire damage 893. Okay, now that is just where I'm sitting at. I think my ignite chance is up to 43%. Okay, it's really good. Now let's put on some items. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. My armor is now up to 48%. And now look at my damages once we have 4. Spell damage 409. Fire damage 1013. Okay. Pretty good, right? Now let's trigger Holy Aura. Now look at my resistances. Fire, lightning, cold, poison. Let's give that a second just in case you missed it. Poison's up to 49. These are all maxed. Pretty good. Now let's put it all together. 4 sigils. And Holy Aura. 439, 1093. Now the way I normally do this is I shield rush. Everything is chasing me, and the second I land, I activate Holy Aura, and then I start throwing. So I get that damage boost right when I land, and normally there's a lot of enemies there because they are all chasing me. But we're not done. Put them back up. So I got my sigils. My armor right now is at 48%, but now let's turn on Juggernaut Stance, because again, this build, you get a 6th skill. Now you are up to 60% armor, and we are still not done, okay? Okay, 60% armor, and you will take 15% less hits, or less damage from this. Now watch your armor. %69% at 6,200 armor when you're throwing. Yes, you can die, of course, but this character is tough. Great block chance. Great block effectiveness, great armor, decent resistances, 100% critical strike avoidance, and I'm at 60% endurance. I just need to get my endurance threshold up. So if this endurance threshold I can get to maybe 400-500 and maybe a small boost to my resistances, unstoppable. Alright everyone, that's the video. What do you all think of my new and improved Paladin, my Shield Throw Eruption Smiter? Is there something that I potentially missed that I can push this build to the next level? Let me know in the comment section below. If you are looking for the loot filter for this build, I also put that in the description. If you have not joined the official Action RPG Discord, please do so. We're approaching 700 members, great conversations every day. The idea is to create a gaming community that could jump from game to game together so you never start the server alone. Link for that Discord is in the description. If you have any questions about this build or you want to talk to me directly, you can leave it in the comment section below or join my Discord and reach out. I am always here if you have any questions. That's it. Stay home, stay safe. Do not forget to join the official Action RPG Discord. Aaron, out.